inertia for the next 2 years, so no excuse. Now, Sir Paul McCartney, it's impossible to overemphasise the scale of the man's achievements. He's sold over 100 million singles, is officially the most successful composer of popular music ever, and, more importantly, to me anyway, he's one of my heroes, and I got to hang out with him for an afternoon. How good is this job? Macca is back in the studio and back to what he does best, making great music. Memory Almost Full is his 21st solo album, and I can assure you, it's a corker.
Everybody gonna dance tonight. Everybody gonna feel alright. Everybody gonna dance around tonight.
Sir Paul's been a hero of mine my whole life. I was brought up on the Beatles, so you'll forgive me for seeming a little overwhelmed when one sunny afternoon I found myself on the roof of his recording studio shooting the breeze with the big man himself.
Well, you can come on to my place if you want to.
So, Paul, I thought we'd start by talking about the album a little bit, Memory Almost Full. I heard that for the first single, Dance Tonight, that you were kind of learning the mandolin, and that was a relatively new thing, and that's how you wrote Dance Tonight. Is that typical, or are you always kind of trying to master something new?
Not really, no.
That was a one-off.
Yeah, it just happened. I was in a shop, and a guy told me he had a left-handed mandolin, so I bought it. And thinking I'd know the chords like a guitar, but it's tuned differently, tuned like a violin, so I had no idea how to play it. But that was great, because it took me back to when I was about 16 or 17, trying to figure out chords, and it was like, it was a magic feeling. It was like, oh, wow, well, you know, this is D, wow, and then showing all your mates, D.
Everybody gonna feel alright. Everybody gonna dance around tonight.
It's got a great video for this new single as well. Michel Gondry has directed it, right? And you've got some guest stars in there. Natalie Portman's in it.
That's right, Natalie Portman and Mackenzie Crook have been kind enough to be in it.
When you get the combo of Macca and Gondry, though, you're probably going to say yes. You're probably going to make time. You'd take a day off, wouldn't you?
Maybe, yeah. I certainly did.
It's interesting that with the recent turmoil in his personal life, the new album has a distinctly retrospective feel, with songs about Paul's childhood in Liverpool, his days with the Beatles, and times gone by. So, with Macca held captive on the roof and a mandolin standing by, I thought I'd take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Would you like to play a little bit for us, Paul? Oh, please.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Could die happy now.
I'll see if I can do a little bit of something on guitar. That was me at the scout camp in a school play, spade and bucket by the sea. That was me. That was me playing conkers at the bus stop on a blanket in the Bluebells. That was me. The same me that stands here now when I think that all this stuff can make a lifetime. It's pretty hard to take in, but that was me. Oh, that was me. Baby, that was me. That was me.
Wow. Lots of the songs kind of seem to have this real sense of wonder about them. And obviously after a lifetime's songwriting, how do you retain your sense of kind of awe at things?
I don't know. You know, it's, I'm very glad of it, though. You know, I have thought occasionally, you think, well, you know, with the Beatles, we thought we might last 10 years. Well, actually, we didn't even think we'd last 10.
Well, obviously, we can't keep playing the same sort of music until we're about 40, because when we're sort of old men playing From Me to You, nobody's going to want to know.
I hope to have enough money to go into a business of my own by the time we do flop.
I've always fancied having a lady's hairdresser, sort of, you know, a string of them, in fact.
You can be big-headed and say, yeah, we're going to last 10 years, but as soon as you've said that, you think, you know, we're lucky if we last 3 months, you know.
It's coming up to 50 years since you met John Lennon.
Never.
This year, 50 years, apparently.
Feels like yesterday.
Do you remember your first meeting and your first impressions?
Yeah, I had a friend called Ivan Vaughan, and where he lived, he had a little gang of mates, and one of them was John, and they were in a group called the Quarrymen. And Ivan said to me, he said, you've got to come along to this Village Fete next Saturday. He said, because the band's going to be there. He said, I think you'll like them, you know, they're great. So I did. I came and I remember just seeing them on a stage. And John was in a check shirt and some little hairdo and that. Like, pretty good band to me. And what I liked, he was singing a song called Come Go With Me. But he was changing the words. He obviously didn't know the words, probably didn't have the record.
Come and go with me, come on with me, baby, down to see.
He was doing Down to the Penitentiary. He was putting like sort of bluesy lyrics and penitentiary and stuff in it. I thought, well, those aren't the words. But, you know, A for effort.
An
it was
unlikely,
lovely, nice memory for me.
An unlikely kind of nascent point for rock history, but there it is.
I don't know, well, everything's unlikely, isn't it?
So come go with me. Yeah!
I was thinking about John and I as a songwriting partnership. I think we wrote something like close to 300 songs. And we used to just have a session in the afternoon like this. We'd meet up 1 o'clock or so and just go for 3 hours, never any longer. And we'd knock off, I'd go home, he'd go to bed or whatever.
Can you remember any of the songs that you kind of came up with like that? Do you remember a particular afternoon when you wrote, you know, one of the...
Yeah, I remember all of them.
Really?
No. No, the thing was that you'd expect that we'd dry up. There'd be one of those sessions wouldn't work. But they all worked. Every single time we sat down for those 3 hours, we came out of it with a song. Nearest we came to drying up was the song Drive My Car. And I brought this one, and it was, I can give you golden rings. I can give you anything. And we were bored stiff after about an hour, so we had a cup of tea and a ciggy, and then revisited it, and then got this whole idea out of nowhere about this girl who wanted a driver.
And then you got the backing lyrics, the beep beep straight
beep,
away.
Beep, 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 yeah.
Perfect.
So, you know, even that was a near failure, somehow came good.
Beep, 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 yeah! Beep, 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 yeah!
A lot of the kind of memories and things that have happened in your life have become part of a kind of cultural memory that we all share. Like, I feel like I remember Beatlemania, but I wasn't born until 1978. Do you know what I mean? Does that affect how you remember things yourself?
Yeah, I think so. You know, those are my memories.
Are you going to lose some of your Liverpool dialect for the Royal Show?
No, you know, we don't all speak like the BBC.
We don't all speak like that, do we?
Bang, come up north.
Well, with that, all I can do, lads, is to wish you lots and lots of luck at Royal Show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a lot.
much.
Jolly good.
They're great memories, most of them. I mean, they're not all great. I mean, there were plenty of arguments in the studio. There were plenty of terrible travellings to gigs. Plenty of terrible gigs. I mean, you can't imagine the Beatles had... Oh, yeah.
No, I don't
And
believe it. Name one.
They were... Name one. I'm not sure. It was Stroud.
Stroud.
It was pretty bad, yeah. There's a place called Stroud.
Right, OK.
We never heard of it. Stroud. We went down there, and, like, I think about 3 people showed up. And a few of them were Teds, and they started throwing money at us, throwing pennies at us.
Yeah.
But we thought, that's OK. Well, we picked it up.
We'll
That
keep them
stopped
after it. That's your
We
loss.
just took it, picked it up. We said, well, yeah, that'll do. I think that's life, though, isn't it? You know, and you're looking at your childhood, you remember the great holidays, the beach, the sunshine. You know, you don't remember the crappy little bits and it raining at Butlins.
Would you ever consider Butlins in the future, Paul?
Definitely. Actually, I like Butlins a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Butlins. Well, it was great. We went there and we'd never seen the like of it. You got this programme and it said, you know, activities. 10 o'clock, Rock and Calypso Ballroom, or bingo, or the Miss Butlin contest, or the Knobbly Knees contest, all at 10 o'clock.
What a bill.
So we were spoiled for choice, I must say. We were like, leaping round Pathelli, like, you know, like the world had just arrived.
You're known as a great optimist. I think we all see you like that. You know, you think Macca, you think like, yeah, everything's going to be good. You are an optimistic person. Is that kind of really you? And are you a forward thinker?
I think so. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, shit happens like it happens to anyone. So it's not just that. But yeah, I think the world is a fantastic place, and I feel very lucky that when I go to work, I actually get to sort of get a guitar, and it's almost like, you know...
You're looking round for someone to go...
someone to nick me. Boy, That's not a job. But I expect all the time to suddenly be jaded.
Really?
And go, that's it, I'm really bored.
But you've never got to the point where you kind of thought, maybe this is gonna...
Never got remotely near it.
I mean, I guess you could kind of dip out of it if you wanted to, you know, but you sort of choose not to.
I think you do what you always did. You try and pick and choose. You try and do the stuff you think is a bit sort of better than, you know, the rubbish.
Like coming on the Culture Show, Paul?
Coming on the Culture Show, you see. That was it. I got an offer off David Frost. I said, sorry, David.
The pop world is very short-lived and everything like that. Could you go back to doing something else?
Oh, I don't know. I'd miss doing this, but I think I'd think of something else to do. Something that I'd like to do. Write songs for other people.
Yeah. Anything completely different?
Completely different. Retire, you know, that is completely different.
I refuse to retire. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit around writing songs. And
You might as well
ringing
record
people
them
up,
and
you
put
know,
them
can I
out.
do a gig in your house?
You
No.
know, you know what you
You're
could
retired.
do, Paul? Listen, Butlin's summer season. Come on.
You've got it. That was me at the Butlins. Rockin' calypso.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Knobbly knees.
Knobbly knees. All right. Your verse.
Right, okay. That was me with me grandma,
Yeah.
sharing a bed.
All right.
Nylon sheets.
All right. That was me, very slippery.
Yeah.
Well, the same me stands here now. When I think that all that stuff can make a lifetime, it's pretty hard to take it in. That was us.
That was us, Paul.
Hey?
Hey.
That was us.
We were there.
That was us.
Wow. Do I get PRS for that? No.
We can negotiate.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, got a bit carried away at the end there, didn't I? Yeah, sorry. You can see Sir Paul perform exclusive tracks from his new album with his band on a special edition of Later with Jules this Friday on BBC Two. Now, to mark the BBC's summer